Hi, Henk Hakemans here. Supply Chain Dynamics, Chapter 5. Sysdea Gameplay 6. Capacity Management. Capacity management in itself is really simple in this model. Simple in the sense that the whole complex process of building new factories, new assembly lines, etc., new technologies, is a first order negative feedback process. We have a current stock of capacity, a level of capacity, we have a desired capacity, and then we have an inflow which is desired minus current over some time to adjust capacity. The time to adjust capacity here is set at some 12 months, which is not at all unrealistic for a machine tool industry that we're looking at in here. And you see in the graphs that for a long time there is a need to increase capacity, and then there is a desire to decrease capacity, and pretty much that's also what you get here. But of course it's really important the capacity adjusts fast enough. One very costly way would be to make this shorter. Another one would be to get the signal of how much capacity you really need correct sooner. Now, this signal is a combination of two factors. It is the perceived channel demand, which I will be telling you more in a minute, but basically that's what the OEM is saying that's happening. And there's the real customer demand, which is what actually is happening with the customers of the OEM in terms of the demand that they have. And let's not forget that many of the suppliers to the OEM, to ASML in the case, also supplied to the customers of the OEM, the customers of ASML. Because the capacity that we're talking about here is not so much the capacity of the OEM, it's the capacity of the suppliers over the OEM, since that's really the dominant bottleneck in this case. So perceived, so there are two inputs to desired capacity, and the weight of those is determined by beta. If beta is 1, then it's entirely the signal that comes from the customer themselves, from the OEM itself, that is being followed. If beta is 0, then it's only the real customer demand that the supply base listens to. In this case, they will not be able to fulfill all the orders placed with them by the OEM, but in the long run, of course, they will not supply more than is really needed in the market. The perceived channel demand is a function of the channel demand that we had earlier on. So that's the demand that actually the OEM is receiving, and that is inflated. This then is fairly straightforward again. Information delay in the sense that this is the channel demands the current signal. This is a smoothed average of that over a certain supplier perception delay. At the time that we talk about, 6 months or half a year between the moment that the customers of the OEM signal that they may want something different, and by the time that signal has proceeded through all the stages within the OEM, from sales to planning, operations, purchasing, etc., and then back from supplier sales to actual production, 6 months is not so unrealistic. But we'll be playing with that supplier delay, perception delay, also in some of the subsequent gameplays.